Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I want to end the day with some good news. Despite all the depression and anxiety and all the trepidation of going to Thanksgiving parties tomorrow, there is one thing that I'm really proud of myself for doing, and this one I've had to learn the hard way, unfortunately, but I'm so proud that I'm doing this correctly. Is every time I get into my car, no matter the emotions that I have just outside of the car, when I open the door and sit down on the driver's seat, I completely check all of the emotions at the door. Whether I just broke up with my girlfriend, whether I got ghosted at a board game meetup, whether I just escaped a fire at the campus and the entire campus is gone and we're not going to have classes for 2 years, right? Whether there was just a COVID outbreak and I'm very lucky to get in my car without dying of COVID. No matter what happens out there, that checks at the door. We're in driving mode. And I'm really pleased I'm able to do that. As I was driving, I live about 5 miles away from Phoenix College. That all disappeared. And I became a very concentrated driver. And in fact, on the road, somebody had made a wrong turn and I allowed them to get back onto the road. And then I made a wrong turn myself, actually, because there was construction and then detours. And nobody needed to give each other a middle finger or a dislike finger or anything like that. And so that was good. The unfortunate corollary of that is sometimes as soon as I park my car and open the door, I pick up the emotions that I had just checked at the door. So I gotta be careful. I learned also the hard way that I can't park directly next to my boss's office. If I need to go talk to my boss, I can't have my boss wait for me at the door, or my girlfriend, or anybody else, right? Or at the board game meetup, or when I go to church, I can't park directly at the door. I gotta park at the back of the parking lot, which is great anyway, because usually there's other people who need the close parking spots more so than I do, right? I need that good football field walk in order to get the emotions out, right? It's weird. But this is one place where you need to know yourself better, right? I had a big problem with this in the past. I learned to check emotions at the car door when I got into my last accident 7 years ago. I was working with a therapist and he suggested every time before I make the drive that I tell myself, just make one trip without an accident. And when I get to where I'm going, congratulate myself. I made it one more trip without an accident. I made it a habit to do that. Now the problem is, one day I was working at a tutoring center operated by this Korean guy. He had a lot of Asian students, and I had just congratulated myself on making it to the tutoring center without an accident. I got out of the car, and before I knew it, I heard a car screeching to a brake, and it was one of my students' dads, and he was so upset at me he was like, "What are you doing?" And later that day, I apologized to him. I explained to him that, I have a lot of trepidation for driving. I had just gotten into an accident 3 months ago, and I taught myself when I get to where I'm going to be thankful that I didn't have an accident. And I forgot the walk between my car and the center was probably the most dangerous part of the commute. And what had happened was I probably checked a lot of emotions at the car door that day, and I got out and picked the emotions back up on my shoulders again. Anyways, don't carry your emotions when you drive. Treat driving as if it's a completely different universe, right? They don't intersect with your work life, with your love life, with anything else, right? Now, a special case of this is if you have to drive around your love life or you have to drive for your work, right? I have a friend who works for Uber Eats. I'm not sure how I would handle that. That I would probably not handle very well, just because of how I need to check emotions at the door, right?